What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Wavy Baller Hub. If this is your first time watching with me, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and follow the movement. You feel me? We are back to winning ways after a great result against Nottingham Forest in the EFL Cup semifinal first leg. But now we are here today to talk about our upcoming FA Cup match versus Reading. I'm really excited for this one, guys. We are back to winning ways. Will Ten Hag rotate the squad? What is he going to do lineup wise? Will he keep a strong lineup? All that good stuff. We're going to talk about it today. You feel me? Got a great guest with me, one of the smartest Manchester United, aka football minds I know. He was on the channel very recently with us, and he's back again. So much love to him. I'm going to bring my guy Abdel into the fold. What is good, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Can't complain. I'm kind of tired. Work's been kicking my ass. You feel me? But you know what it
I
is.
know that feeling.
You just gotta keep grinding, bro. You just gotta keep grinding. But it's all good, man.
Yeah.
Real quick before we jump into the Reading matchup this weekend, let's talk really quickly about um our match versus Nottingham Forest. You know, we're kind of on
Mm.
cruise control. Real quick, what were your thoughts on that game?
Um, I thought it was okay. Like they gave us a bit of a game. It wasn't like completely comfortable until we actually killed it at the very end with that third goal.
Yeah.
Like now we go into that second leg really not worried. Like we can just have a professional, keep it together kind of performance and
Yep.
just move to the final.
Yep.
I think their transitions were good. They even caught out Casemiro and Aaron Wan-Bissaka a couple of times, and especially the goal. And they got like Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka got lucky on that one, and Casemiro, to be frank. Uh, so you can see that we still have a bit of a shakiness at the back. We're not fully,
Yeah.
um, bulletproof. When if I can say that word. Um, but it was good. Like I think the only thing that I really annoyed me about it is that even up until now, until against those small teams, we can't completely nullify them.
Right.
Even if we play almost out the starting 11 that we play in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still heavily, not heavily, but like we're reliant on transitions.
Mm.
Like I mean, the first goal is completely Marcus Rashford doing his own thing.
Right.
The second goal, the one that Weghorst scored, it was a transition goal, and
You're right.
it's just that when Anthony kicked the ball, Weghorst was just there because he already made
Yeah, it's a
made a run
scrappy goal.
before.
Scrappy goal.
Yeah. So, but again, you understand it because of the profiles you have, right?
Right.
Not all the profiles that you have are like a possession heavy type of players, you know?
No, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, I agree. There was, for me, it was. I think in my opinion, I know they had some half chance. I'm gonna call them half chances. Obviously, the goal they scored
Yeah,
was the one where it's like, okay, we're very fortunate there. But other
yeah,
than that, they had some half chances, right? The Casemiro turnover was probably the other one that really stood out.
yeah.
But other
Gibbs
than
gave him a game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gibbs White's a good player. You know, I think he's a good player. He's just,
Yeah,
it's just kind of that team is just kind of mishmashed together. You know, they just bought a lot of players and they're trying to fit them in, and they're doing all right. They only that team.
yeah,
I think they had only lost two out of their last 11. They had won out of their last 11 games. They'd only lost two of them, so they're not. They're in a decent run of form, right? They're
yeah,
not scrubs, right? A
yeah,
lot
for
of money's
sure.
been invested in that team, but it was all in all. I thought it was, in my opinion, we were comfortable outside of maybe one or two
Yeah,
little hiccups, right? But no, we move on, and then we're looking ahead to this Reading game, like you mentioned, because we won 3-0. We're relatively comfortable heading into our fixture after the Reading game, which is the second leg of the
yeah,
Carabao Cup semifinal, right? So will
yeah,
Ten Hag just run it back, right? Will Ten Hag just run it back with the same lineups that he deployed? And I have your predicted lineup here, so I might just go ahead and share that for the crowd to see really quickly.
hmm
Let's pull that up. Let's pull that up. So this is Abdel's lineup right here. You want to just walk us through this really quickly?
Oh yeah, it's just the like for the life of me, I don't get why De Gea can't be rested in the cup competitions, but Ten Hag
Doesn't
keeps.
trust those guys, man. He doesn't trust those keepers, man.
You cannot convince me that Heaton is that bad that De Gea cannot be rested for a game in the cup. It's just I don't understand it. I've said it before, maybe in a joking manner, but I felt there was some truth behind it. Like I feel like this guy has such influence inside the club that managers have to put up with him. You know,
Interesting.
whether he's performing badly or not performing badly, performing okay. There is something about De Gea where managers just cannot drop him
Yeah, I don't
unless
know.
he's.
You know, I don't know if I agree with that one. Only because like if he did what he did with Ronaldo, I think De Gea is, you know what I'm saying? De Gea is nowhere near
See,
the
sure, but
cachet.
Ronaldo already gave his power away
Right.
by all the
Right.
antics he's done. Look, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's
Ronaldo made
fair.
Ten Hag's position really easy to pick on him.
Right, 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 right. That's fair.
Uh, so, like, imagine De Gea not coming to preseason. Imagine him walking out when he got substituted. Imagine all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nah, it wouldn't be the same.
No, you're right.
But De Gea loves the club, says all the right things. Like the only thing about De Gea that you could say, as a personality perspective, is that he just doesn't take responsibility for what he does. It's always somebody else's fault.
Mm.
Like even during the matches when he makes a bad pass, he blames the other guys.
No, yeah.
That's the only thing about De Gea that I don't like as a person, as
No,
well as a
no, yeah.
personality. Yeah,
No, yeah, no, but no, continue, continue.
yeah. So he's gonna stick with him at least for the FA Cup game. Maybe the second leg, because we've already 3-0 up. He might rest him, and Heaton might get a game or something. Um, and then Shaw, Martinez. I said, did I say Varane?
Yeah, yeah.
Varane and Aaron Bissaka. I don't think Dalot will be back. I don't think he's back anyway, training.
No, he's not.
So yeah, so Aaron Bissaka is definitely starting. Mart. I want Martinez and Varane to start just so we can finish the game easy. But he might go for Lindelof and Maguire, being Reading is an easy opponent, so he
Mm,
might drop these guys. But my thinking is I want to finish the game early,
mm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And these guys, one Varane helps us defensively, Martinez also helps us progressively. So
No, yep, I'm
and
following you.
and yeah, and defensively as well, right? Um, Ericsson and Casemiro. I just can't see us dropping them because the alternatives are just way too weak on the transition.
Mm.
But I don't know how Reading plays. I haven't watched them at all this season or the season before, so I don't know anything about them at
Right.
the moment. But if they're good at the transition, playing McTominay or Fred or both is just a nightmare. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
so I'm picking these guys. So
Yep.
basically, I'm going for the first 11 because I want to
Yeah, yeah,
finish the
yeah.
game quickly.
No, yeah, I'm following you. I'm following you. And I
Yeah,
think this is pretty straightforward. I mean,
yeah.
I'm debating, will he rest Marcus Rashford? I think Rashford and Erickson are the two for me that,
Need a rest.
they have been literally run into the ground. Fernandez is kind of like he's like an engine. I don't even think he gets tired, honestly. It's just, you know what I
He's
mean?
insane. Insane.
He doesn't get tired. I think I don't know what his training regime is. He doesn't get injured. He doesn't get tired. I don't, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't even worry about Bruno. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's literally been playing 90 minutes almost for
yeah,
3 years straight every single game and hasn't really dropped off in terms of his
yeah. It,
energy.
not even a knock. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very blessed in that aspect.
I
But
mean, God bless him. Like
yeah, that's what I
I'm
say.
not
God's
knocking
what I
him
say.
down.
The good Lord's blessing him, man. I don't know what's going on, but hey, it's all good. I'm gonna be a little different. I'll say Garnacho's gonna start. I'll just be a little different.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not really. I'm not confident about this by any means, but I just think it'll be traditional team. I put Fred
Yeah,
in here as well, right?
instead of
Instead of
Ericsson.
Erickson.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
at the end of the day, Reading is in. I don't know. Like you mentioned, I haven't watched Reading this season, right? Like I haven't
Yeah,
invested any time. I don't really watch the championship unless it's like a, nearing the end of the season and they're doing the playoffs, right?
yeah, or a
I think
lone
that,
watch.
or a loan exactly, or a loan watch, right? Something like that. Um,
Yeah,
but they're mid-table right now. They're like 14th. So
yeah.
if
I
we,
haven't watched them since 1920. I think
yeah,
that's the last time I've watched
if
Reading.
we can't rotate, against a side like that,
Mm,
honestly, I don't know when we'd be able to rotate. Listen, we have a
mm,
game every 3.5 days for the next 2 months, right?
yeah,
So, like, obviously, I'm not saying like bring the kids in, right?
yeah,
I'm not saying, bro, I mean, technically Garnacho's a kid, but he's kind of turning into a man very quickly, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying bring in Kobe Manu. I'm not saying bring in Zidane Iqbal. I'm not saying you know what I mean? I'm just saying like one or two just to freshen things up a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, if we have that, if our starting back four is playing, you know what I'm saying? If our starting back four is playing, they're not going to concede. They're not going to score a goal. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I think we have sneakily done a really good job of keeping clean sheets, you know, outside of the Arsenal game, which we were never
mm,
going to keep a clean sheet, right? And then
yeah.
the
I
Crystal
like how
Palace,
you said sneakily though,
yeah,
because it
because
is sneakily.
no,
It's
people
not as
people
if.
haven't been noticing. We've been keeping a lot of clean sheets, right? Like I think Ten Hag is. People are thinking about what's going the other way,
Oh,
going
okay,
forward.
okay. I meant it. I thought you meant it in a way where we kind of rode our luck a little bit in some matches.
I mean, yeah, but I
Yeah,
think we've kept a lot.
yeah.
Like there was a we went like 4 or 5 games straight without conceding, right?
Yeah,
Like
no, we've kept a lot of clean sheets. I think we're like
yeah,
the third or the fourth highest in Europe right now.
yeah. So like I think if he plays that back four, we can rotate higher up the
Yeah,
pitch, in my opinion, because we'll be
yeah,
safe. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's gonna be an interesting one to see what he does. Does he rotate? Because like against Charlton, right? Was Charlton I think Charlton was an FA Cup game, right?
No,
It
they
wasn't. It was a
were the
excuse
Carabao.
me. It was a Carabao Cup
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I mean, he brought in Kobe, right? He brought in Kobe, and he did okay, right? He tried. Nothing special, but
Mm.
will he bring in a Fred for a game like this? Fred has been knocking on the door for a while, in my opinion, just to get a start. I'm not saying to become a consistent starter, but just to,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
start to start in a game like this. I think,
I mean, he has a case because Ericsson is dead in
yeah,
the water. Like
yeah,
Ericsson
Erickson.
is just.
Listen, and I feel bad because I think a lot of people have been hard on Erickson over the past few weeks, especially the Arsenal game. I think I was a bit hard on him, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
just in
mm.
hindsight. But he's playing out of position. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's not a deep lying eight, or he's playing as a six sometimes, right? He's just
Mm.
not that player. You know
It's
what I
just
mean?
like think about it this way: if you're gonna play against an opponent where you're not gonna have the ball, Ericsson playing in the pivot is not a good idea.
Yeah.
No matter what he offers you on the ball, because that would be very little in comparison to the work he has to do off the ball.
Right. Right.
So, but if you're playing a weak team where Ericsson can actually be that box to box or be up most of the time,
Exactly.
where Casemiro can just mop everything back behind him,
Exactly.
then sure, play him in the pivot. He will not look bad.
Oh yeah.
That's the same thing with Pogba, right? When we played against weak teams and Solskjaer played him in the two pivots with Matic or with McTominay,
Hmm.
Pogba had the ability to go up and do some stuff,
Hmm.
like ping a ball over the line or something like that. But
Right.
as soon as we had to defend, Pogba looked like he's clueless in the middle of the field because it's
Right.
not
Right.
what he does, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
No, 100%. It's a great point you made. Like against Nottingham Forest, right? Like Erickson
yeah,
was just cruising, right? He
yeah,
had space, he had time, he was picking passes out. He looked
yeah,
excellent against Nottingham Forest. But no, it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does, man. I'm really fascinated. Oh,
yeah.
I'm really fascinated to see what he does against
Hmm.
to see what he does against to see what he does against Reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's gonna be a game where I think you know, we have an easy run of games up until Barcelona, right? I
yeah,
think that like we have all, in my opinion, all of these games are in a weird way a build up to that Barcelona game, right? We
yeah,
have um the Reading game, then we have Forest, then I think we have Crystal Palace. I might
Yeah,
be wrong
and
about
then
that.
yeah,
Then
Crystal
Leeds,
Palace, and I
then
think
Leeds,
Leeds twice.
twice, and then Barcelona. I'm just honestly, it's I don't like looking too far ahead most of the times, but like that fixture is just sitting in my head. Like I cannot wait. I
Yeah,
cannot wait for that fixture, man. It's gonna be legendary in my opinion. Like these two club giants fighting for relevancy again. In the Europa
yeah.
League of all things, right? Like I don't know, bro. I'm excited for it. I don't know, but man, just from a tactical perspective, you know, I think I want to get your thoughts on how Ten Hag has been shaping the side as we've kind of progressed. I think he's done little things here and there to
Mm.
tweak things. He's shown his ability to adapt within games to adjust for different
Yeah.
opponents. What do you think he's gonna keep it business as usual? Do you think he'll tweak something? Right? How do you think he's gonna approach this Reading game?
No, for Reading, I think for him it's going to be a straightforward game, kind of business as usual, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't one of those games where you have to really, really analyze the opponent and try to pick their weak spots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, like so far, what we've seen from Ten Hag is that when it comes to opponents that are very highly tactical, he changes his approaches a lot,
Right.
and
Right.
he adapts to them.
Right.
We've seen it against Liverpool, we've seen it against City, we've seen it against Arsenal, Chelsea, all of them, right? Like,
Right.
and I know people get mad when I say this or when we analyze the game and say this, but he does adopt an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer style. Like,
Mm.
no matter how much you did not rate the guy, he had a plan for those big games, and it works. You
Right.
know,
No.
so and
Good
because
point.
of the limitations of the team, like you have to understand the team that you have. It isn't there is nothing called just because Erik Ten Hag is one of those great managers. He's just gonna come and as he said it in one of the press conferences for Ajax. A coach can't do magic,
Right.
He's just not gonna come and just transform all these players into position style, players, and we're gonna play tiki taka all the time.
Right.
Nah, it doesn't work that way. You adapt to the team that you have, and he's adapting to the team that he have. He changed a lot of the things about his style. Obviously, he changed for like the major changes between him and Solskjaer is that the way we build up is different,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
So Oli relied on the double pivots to be a little bit more static than they should be, which created triangles instead of created diamonds. Erik Ten Hag is creating a lot of diamonds instead of creating triangles,
Mm.
which gives him one extra passing option.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it still fails sometimes because some of the players are not that good on the ball under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So the same issues that, for especially the first two games, if you remember, the same
Mm.
issues that we ran into under Solskjaer, we ran into under Ten Hag because of the ability of the players.
Right. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
think those first two games are probably a blessing in disguise. It kind
yeah.
of allowed Ten Hag to realize like, oh, like these guys are not that good.
I I
You know,
cannot play my style.
I
No
can't, I
way I can.
can't, I can't do what I had to do. And then I remember the Liverpool game. He started playing long ball, right, kicking it long,
Yeah,
kind of mucking it up and making it a bit old school.
it
Right.
was.
It
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
and it's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. Like I'm
yeah,
I'm always a big proponent of if you are a manager, you have to kind of adapt to what your the cards you've been dealt. I'm not saying completely go away from
yeah.
your ethos. Because even in some of those games, like as we progress, like the Arsenal match, I remember the goal that Anthony scored, the build up
Hmm.
before that goal, right, was really good.
Hmm.
The buildup was like so. There's always been flashes. I remember against was it Everton or there was another game. There's just a few games where we had like 90 second to 1.5, 90 second to 2 minute spells where it's just like, this is what he wants us to become in the future, right?
Yeah,
And we're getting there, man. Like I think our back four is pretty much
yeah,
fixed, in my opinion. We
yeah,
might need a right back, might need another right back to challenge Dallo or whatever. But I think our back four is pretty much fixed.
yeah.
You know,
I
if
think I I think right now, even like forget about backups as in bench and depth and all that shit, but just the first 11. I think if we fix the right back, goalkeeper, and the striker, we're as good as City and or Liverpool or
Mm,
whatever team.
yeah.
Obviously, it's on the course of a long season with depth and stuff. That's a different story. But those three positions, if we fix those three positions, we're as good as any other team.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
we'll see.
yeah,
What do we? How many days do we have left in the window?
five.
5 days. I don't think United are
I
going to
don't
do
think we're.
anything in 5 days.
No. They don't have money.
Um,
They don't have money.
yeah, no, no,
The amount of money they spent in the summer and also the deals that they have still are paying from deals they've done in the past. They barely have anything
hmm
to
and they're
keep
not
up.
investing money. They're not investing money of their own. That's another thing we have to. I
Yeah,
have to
true.
remember they've never really invested a penny of
And
their own
also
money.
because of the sale going on right now, so they're not gonna make the club pay anything.
It only makes sense. It only makes sense, right? Like
Yeah,
this might be a. See,
yeah.
I think a lot of fans are. I think we're going to get top four, in my opinion. I think with the manager we have, as long as
No,
there's not
I think we're gonna
catastrophic,
get
yeah,
top four comfortably, and not only because of Ten Hag, but because of the way the season is going with everybody else.
right,
Like the only
exactly,
contender that we have is Newcastle.
right, 100%. Like Liverpool
You
are gonna. I don't think Liverpool are gonna be able to
they're
make up
not.
that gap.
No,
Chelsea, no way. You
no.
know what I mean? Like I just think that it's too big of a burden, and
Yeah,
Ten Hag's not gonna let us drop that many points. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Um, and
Like
I
for
think it's
example, the thing is,
what.
it was very predictable at the beginning of the season because if you thought about it, I said this in a tweet. I'm like, this upcoming season because Liverpool bought Nunez and City bought Haaland, it's
Mhm.
the perfect opportunity for someone to crack those two,
Right,
and take
right,
take their spot. Why?
right.
Because they're changing the dynamics of their teams drastically.
Mhm.
Instead
Yep.
of having a striker that connects and combines and acts as a false nine, sometimes acts as a striker, sometimes they're multi-dimensional.
Mhm.
They're getting strikers who are only one-dimensional,
Yep. Yep.
and they
Yep.
have to adjust the entire team around it. Now, the saving grace, if you will, for City is that they have a lot of talent that they can mix up some dynamics to make something work with Haaland,
Mhm.
but Liverpool didn't have. And when I knew they weren't going to strengthen the midfield, I was like, Liverpool might not even make it to the top four,
Mhm.
and that was my prediction. And they really I didn't think they would crumble that bad, but they crumbled.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No,
and
100%.
instead of obviously, my hope was United was to fix their shit, but after that season, everything went haywire.
All right.
So I'm like, yo, this is Arsenal's chance.
No, yeah, and
I knew it
it's
was Arsenal's chance.
I didn't predict Arsenal would be what they are. I'll be
I,
real with you. I just
I thought they'll be second, maybe to City or something,
yeah, no, I
but I was
genuinely
like, they're gonna fight for it at least.
I mean, it sounds crazy right now, but I really thought Chelsea, right, with Tuchel and they gave him a few pieces, right? It was and it just didn't. I just thought Chelsea had. I just in the beginning, just from the
Yeah,
optic, I love Koulibaly as a player before he
yeah.
came to Chelsea. I just thought, man, they just got one of the best defenders in the world. That's just how I was like. Now you have Silva, Koulibaly, Reece James. Now he's been injured, right? Conte's
They're,
been injured. A lot of their
they're,
main guys have been
yeah.
fallen to the wayside. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
think I think Chelsea's biggest problem is not even defensively. It's just they have way too many different attackers.
yeah, yeah,
They can't put them together in a
it's
starting lineup. Like they
right.
can't make a something
The
out of
mix
all
up,
the
yeah. There's no
attackers. Yeah,
chemistry, no chemistry whatsoever. I
and that's
completely
why
agree.
they've been struggling with goals. It's not that they're conceding; it's that they're struggling to
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 score,
score.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
100%. And they don't have any. They really don't have any creativity in midfield, right? Like
exactly.
no
Mount
real
Mason Mount
engine, no real
fell off a
engine.
cliff,
Yeah, and
so
then
it's
on
like
this, and you're so right. The point you made about City and Liverpool is like you're so right on that. It's like Holland, right? It kind of reminds me of I made a whole TikTok about this. Like the Holland situation reminds me of Ruud van Nistelrooy back in the early 2000s, right? Like
yeah,
he's this absolute goal machine, cold striker, just one of the most clinical strikers United's ever had, but we didn't win that much, right? Because we didn't have that link, we didn't have that Dwight York anymore, right? That link player, that's the guy who was knitting
Yeah,
things together, right? When you change the dynamic of a team so much like that, like we did back in the early
with
2000s, right?
Ronaldo as well. We
With
did it with
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
we did it with Ronaldo, right? It
Mm.
drastically affects the way that you know, it's gonna affect you in the table at the end of the day, right? In Liverpool,
Yeah.
I with all due respect, I think
Mm.
Darwin Núñez is trash. Like I don't say this a lot about a lot. I think he is mediocre as hell. Like I don't know how else to, bro. He is mediocre. I don't care how many
He's
times he
just
runs in behind his pace.
yeah.
He is mid. He is
He's
mid.
rash. He's a bit rash and erratic.
Yeah.
But it's this like this. It's the point becomes sorry. Do you want one guy carrying all the goals, or do you want to distribute the goals and play well as a team?
Mm-hmm.
So, like
Yep.
for example, us the first season when Ronaldo returned, everybody's been banging around. Oh, 23 goals. He scored 18 goals in the league.
Right.
This is why you need Ronaldo. He saved you. I'm like, no, but every other attacker we had suffered.
Right.
Even the guy who creates suffered,
Mm-hmm.
because of his static movement.
Right.
So he might have scored these, some of which were hard chances. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He will score some chances,
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting all the glory, but we're like completely
We're
falling
worse.
apart.
We're shit. We're in
Yeah,
sixth place.
yeah,
Right.
we're
It's
falling
crazy.
apart.
It's crazy. And
Yeah,
man, it's funny how far along we've come since then.
yeah, yeah,
We look. It's crazy. We have Veghorst now. Like people are like, wow, who is this guy? He's just doing his job, right? Link the play. When you get the ball, hold it, pass it, turn, right?
yeah,
It's so simple, but that's
yeah,
all he needs to do right now. Obviously, he's not
mm,
our future. He's not what you
yeah,
need at the number 9 in terms of a title contender,
yeah.
right? But in this short term thing, he's adding more value than Ronaldo
But
did before he left.
exactly, you just need someone to hold it together until you get that upgrade, not someone who
Exactly.
breaks it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like
Exactly.
he might not get the goals that Ronaldo get, or that the striker that we want to get eventually in the future get, but he's holding it together. He's
Yeah.
allowing the others to grow while it's holding together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think though there's one thing that I don't like about like the way we do things, even right now, up until now with Ten Hag, and we did it with Solskjaer. And I actually got this information like directly from someone who know some people in Manchester,
Mm,
and they said that in the Arsenal game, for example, the Rashford wasn't tracking back because they asked him to.
mm,
They wanted Fernandes and Weghorst to cover.
mm.
And I'm like, but you're relying on Marcus Rashford to actually be the single threat that you have. It just does not work that way. You need to have multiple threats. And
No,
this
I
is what
agree.
this was a tactic Solskjaer used as well, and that's why Rashford was flourishing under Solskjaer, because he relied on him a lot to be that biggest threat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting thought. So
yeah,
I agree. I think Rashford I think
annoyed me
Ra-
a little bit when I heard it, but I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I think Rashford is an interesting one because he's being heavily relied upon. I don't think that's what Ten Hag's hopes the future will be. I think he just
No,
understands
no,
that's where he's
of
at
course,
now.
yeah,
I think one, I personally can't wait for Jadon Sancho to come back. I think he's gonna
hmm
alleviate a ton of pressure from this side. I listen. I don't dislike Anthony. I don't like. I just think he's so currently he's very limited. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to. I think he
yeah,
has a lot of room to improve. He's only 22 years old. His
yeah,
close control is impeccable. I think he's the best in our team in terms of
yeah,
in tight spaces, right? Wriggling out of tight
yeah,
spaces and making a. I think he's the best at it. But I just think that when he's
mm,
higher up the pitch in the final third, I think Sancho's better than him at creating and finding a pass and just
yeah,
the basic things I want from my winger, right? In terms of
mm,
creativity, I think Sancho has it and Anthony does it, right? So
yeah,
we need. I think our wide, even though Rashford is having this epic season, I think our wide play could be a lot better as a unit, as a unit. You know what I mean?
100%. I,
Like
I I still think that we're a bit singular in the white play.
Yeah, yeah,
in the wide
yeah,
play. Yes.
yeah. And I think, like for instance, City. I hate saying it, but like when City are at their best, their wide play is so it's just flawless. You know what I mean? And people don't understand that. Like that's
Yeah.
the reason they're so good is it's the wingers, stretching out the pitch, right?
Mm,
Mahrez can do anything, right? In terms of he can cut left or he can cut onto his left foot. People don't understand.
yeah.
He goes right too. He'll go right and he'll drive at a fullback right, put in a,
Yeah.
a low cross, right? Same thing when Foden's on that side. Now Grealish is kind of coming
Yeah.
into his own a bit over the past few weeks or months, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what we need. Like Rashford, obviously Rashford is a goal scorer. That's it really realistically that's what Rashford is. At his
Yeah.
best, he's a top goal scorer. You
Yeah.
need a winger who has that ability to, you know, give you a different option. Put in a cross
Mhm.
for Vekhorst. Like look what Palestri did for like really. I mean, he had an up and down appearance yesterday, but I
Yeah.
loved how he just boom, one turn cross. Weghorst had an opportunity. Like when do we see that from Anthony? You know what I mean? Seriously, like when
Yeah.
have we seen Anthony turn right? I genuinely don't. I can't think of a time Anthony has taken on a player with his right foot and put in a cross. I cannot think of a moment.
Yeah. He used to do that back in the Eredivisie, but he hasn't done it at United. He has
Yeah,
not done it at United.
yeah. I just
Um, and which making him very, very predictable for Premier League defenders.
hmm yeah.
And this is I compared Anthony 2 3 days ago, I think, to Daniel James, but not as a player. I said that he is Eric Ten Hag's Daniel James, not
Mm.
that he is like Daniel James as
No,
a
yeah,
player.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You know, but in the sense that Anthony is so vital to us right now, even though he's not adding too much on the ball, he's
hmm
so vital to the shape in possession and so vital to the shape out of possession.
No, he's defensively. He's working really hard. I
But, but yeah,
that's
but
one
even
thing.
in possession as well,
hmm
because he stretches the play horizontally so much, because he likes to remain on that touch line point,
hmm
you know, it's easier for us to play that switch and
mm
catch teams unbalanced.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
even in possession, his value is very high without doing anything,
yeah, yeah. No,
without doing anything
I
great, and that's
yeah,
why he's important. That's why I likened him to being Daniel
the
James,
Daniel
Eric Ten
James.
Hag,
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
because it's the same thing for social. Daniel James was so vital for shape
hmm
that people didn't realize that. They thought it was just playing him because Ollie likes, stupid
No,
players
yeah,
who
no,
say.
yeah, no. Daniel James was obviously a limited player, but he had a role. He played a role,
But he
right?
had a very important, vital tactical role, and this is why I likened Daniel like that signing
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Eric Ten
yeah.
Hag's Anthony. But obviously, the difference is Anthony, if he gets his confidence back and does what he used to do, he'll be a lot more valuable in possession than Daniel James. He just
Mm-hmm.
haven't shown it at all, and at least to the extent that we expect of him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I like this comment. My shout out to my guy Hammer. Someone get a damn pass onto his freaking 6'6" ass head. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's true. I mean, if you have realistically, if you have Anthony and Rashford, that's the thing. Rashford doesn't really put in crosses into the box, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anthony,
Every now and then.
yeah, Anthony is looking to shoot every time he cuts in. He's not looking to pass. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why
He
I
has
for
he has this annoying habit, even from back in at
yeah,
Ajax.
and that's why for me it's like Sancho. Like I know people are I think a lot of people have given up on Sancho. I think a lot of fans have kind of just written him off. I think he's gonna be because people are like, oh, I had a conversation with somebody really quickly, like on Twitter, like, oh, are you thinking of
Yeah,
benching Anthony? I'm like, not really benching him. It's just competition for places. Like, Anthony cost us 82.5 million pounds, something like right around there, right? And
yeah,
then Sancho was what 75 million pounds. Like it's pretty much the same investment on a player, right? It's not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's not like why not
yeah.
compete them, right? Why not make them compete them out? Who cares at the end of the day, right? It doesn't really matter.
Mm,
Bruno and Vekhorst need to build a relationship. I think it'll become very good for the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean we'll see. I think Vekhorst is once Martial comes back, I think Ten Hag's just gonna throw him right back into the fire like you know what I mean. That's how I see it, right? But Vekhorst, I think he's
yeah,
doing a job. I think he's doing a job. I can't complain. I can't complain.
yeah. He makes the right runs and he makes space for others, which
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
which is good,
I don't know
especially
what
with
people are
someone like
expecting.
like Fernandez, because Fernandez has this second striker instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So if your striker is making runs and making space, it will benefit Fernandez a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
yeah.
it, it isn't the cross for your striker type of dynamic.
No, for
And
sure.
that's it. Bruno does it, don't get me wrong. But Bruno is a lot more than just a creative crosser.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
a lot of other roles that he's
Yeah,
fulfilling in the
exactly.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's an interesting conversation. I'm excited for the game. What is your so we'll go to score predictions. I know I got to get you out of here soon, Abdel.
Yeah, no worries, man.
What is your score prediction and who are your goal scorers for this game?
For the Reading one,
Yeah.
um, I'll say another 3-0.
Okay.
And with if we're gonna I'd say Rashford will get one, and then Garnacho will come on and get one,
Mm.
and Bruno will get one as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna predict a 3-0 as well. I'm gonna go Veghorst will get another goal. I'm gonna go for Anthony. I've been giving him I've been giving him stick for a while. So I
Yeah,
think he'll get a goal against Reading. And then
yeah,
I will go for Marcus Rashford as well to score a goal. So it's going to be interesting to see, guys. Sorry, guys, got to go. But my score prediction today was 4-1. Okay, I can't complain. I'm for it. The more goals, the better. You know what I mean? The more goals, the better. But
yeah,
guys, get your thoughts in the comments for those watching. We've had about 10 people watching for most of the show.
yeah.
So shout out to everyone who's been showing love. I appreciate it, guys. Make sure to follow
Yeah.
Abdel. His social media
Sure do.
information is in the right here on the
Yeah,
screen as well as in the description for this stream. You feel me? Make sure to show
yeah.
him some love. He always dropping some
Thank you.
knowledge on Twitter and stuff like that. You feel me? Um, but yeah, no, guys, get your thoughts in the comments. Guys, appreciate you hopping on. Abdel, of course, as always, appreciate you showing love and supporting the channel
No,
by
anytime
hopping on.
for sure.
You know what I mean? And guys, get your thoughts. Comments, hit the subscribe button for me. You feel me? It really helps the channel out. Hit the like button on this stream if you've been watching, and enjoyed the content. And we will talk to you guys very, very shortly. All right.
Yeah.
Deuces.